Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Rational Gooner, and this is my initial reaction to our defeat at the Etihad against Manchester City. 5 games left, and the window is closing. And it's tough to be positive because literally either side of the international break and thereafter, results have just not gone our way. Performances have been poor. The players seem to look dead on their feet. I'll be honest with you, today we looked good. We looked like we had the legs in midfield. We looked like our strikers were hassling from the front, and the high press was working against City. But in the end, it's about when the big chances come and the big moments in the game, which team was going to take them. And unfortunately today it was Manchester City. Congratulations to them. It's a big win for them in the biggest game of the season. And we came up short. I believe we were the width of a post away from taking the lead and possibly going on to get at least a draw from the game. And that happened more than once. In the second half, Eze was the biggest one, where he just moved it out of his feet, left-footed strike, curled it, started outside the goal, then came back in, hit the inside of the post, agonisingly across the front of the goal line and out on the other side. And we also hit the post a bit later on in the game as well. Which it's because of the emotion. I'm actually forgetting who actually it was. I'm sure one of you can tell me in the comments. It's a difficult one for me to comprehend, because we've had such a brilliant 9/10 of the season, and it's just this final hurdle that we just can't seem to get over. We just seem to get a mental block, and all of a sudden we go from looking like prime Mourinho Chelsea in 2005 to another Arteta nearly men team. We're still in the title race. It's not over, but you back City now. It's in their hands. Even the goal difference that we built up was smashed last week at Stamford Bridge when City won 3-0. So we're not going to get any favours in this title race, and we don't expect them. But what we do need to do is to keep our house in order, and we haven't done that. And that defeat at Bournemouth last week is more significant now after this result than it was before the game. And you will go back to that if we don't end up winning the title this season. You'll go back to that game and say, well, yeah, Bournemouth were the better side on the day and deserved to win. However, as a team that's topping the Premier League and going for the title, those are the games we have to win. And we didn't. And now we're in this position where we are still top, 3 points clear, having played a game more. Manchester City play Burnley next away from home. I don't expect them to slip up there. And, we're going to be looking into our next few fixtures and really bricking it, because we're not in form. We're rank out of form at the moment. And, there's got to be something to be said for our strength and conditioning coach, for our... For the treatment table. Are these players coming back fully fit, or are these players being rushed back, or is it going the other way? Are we holding these players back so long that when they come back, their match sharpness isn't good enough, and we can't get into any rhythm? Martin Odegaard off the pace showed a few good touches, but apart from that, really not doing what you expect a Martin Odegaard to do. Declan Rice looks dead on his feet. He has the look of a player that is being forced into playing each week with injections. He has the look of a player who wants to do everything he can for his team, but the limitations of the injury that he is carrying is detrimental to, first of all, his performance, and second of all, the team performance. And I don't blame Declan Rice for this. I don't see how there's a way out here. The big miss for me is Mikel Merino. If Mikel Merino was playing in the game at Wembley against City, if Mikel Merino was playing last week against Bournemouth, and if Mikel Merino was playing today, the outcome of those games would be very, very different. He brings something else. He's a gritty player. He's a type of player that not a lot of headlines get grabbed, but he's vital to the team. He really is. Zubimendi is a shadow of the player that he was before the clocks went forward. And although our back four still looks solid, we're leaking goals. We've conceded 2 against Bournemouth, 2 against City twice in the space of a few weeks. And we're just not... I mean, we're doing it in the Champions League, but the priority is the Premier League. The Premier League is where we want it, you know. Very emotional time for me. It's the passion that I have for this club that is making me feel that emotion right now. It's all raw. It's and I'm going to try and be as fair as I can. And I think City edged it for me today. I think that they looked a lot more assured when they had the ball at their feet. I think that they had their tactics spot on against us, and I think that when they got the winning goal, they were in control. That's not to say we still couldn't have come back at them. And that cross from Trossard for Havertz to head the ball, I mean, every gooner around the country was almost leaping off their sofas, and obviously in the stadium as well, and it just was the wrong side of the bar. So City started with Donnarumma, Nunes, Kusanov, Guehi, O'Reilly, Semenyo, Silva, Cherki, Rodrigo, Doku and Haaland. We had David Raya, Mosquera, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié, Odegaard, Zubimendi, Rice, Madueke, Havertz and Eze. With Eze playing on the left, with Martin Odegaard in the number 10 role. Odegaard played the whole game, by the way. I'm a little bit annoyed at Arteta for bringing Eze off when he did on the 74th minute. I thought he was our most dangerous player today, Eze. Kai Havertz allowed. I mean, obviously, Kai Havertz's goal, it came from a situation that City created themselves, really. It was their own undoing. But City took the lead, and it was through Ryan Cherki. 100% the wrong player to score, really, after his antics in the Carabao Cup final. But it was a brilliant goal. He showed some brilliant feet to escape Gabriel, and then he just passed it into the bottom left-hand corner, past the despairing dive of David Raya, who really didn't have a chance. But 2 minutes later, City shot themselves in the foot, and a back pass went to Donnarumma. Donnarumma dwelled on it. He went to pass it out to the left, but Havertz nipped in and got his foot in there, and the ball deflected straight into the net. And after that, you know, moment of madness, Donnarumma didn't put a foot wrong. But invariably, when a goalkeeper makes a mistake in games of that magnitude, you get punished. Raya nearly actually got punished earlier on in the game, where he showed a lot of the ball to Haaland after a goal kick routine with Gabriel. Gabriel played the ball to him. He touched it too far in front of him. I thought Haaland was going to steal in and score, but Raya managed to slide and scoop the ball away and out for a throw-in. But it just shows you these top-quality goalkeepers, they've got mistakes in them, especially when you are playing the percentages at the back and trying to pass it out from the back. One of them got away with it, and Donnarumma didn't. But that's academic because of what happened in the 65th minute. City pulled together a brilliant move, and Haaland does what Haaland does best. You know, he spent the entire game scrapping with Gabriel and then scored the winning goal. 3 points to Manchester City. And this is how the league table reads now. So Arsenal played 33, goal difference of 37, 70 points. City played 32, goal difference of 36, 67 points. If they win by a margin of 2 goals in their game in hand, they're top of the Premier League and they will win the title. We have 5 games left, so 15 points on offer. City have 6 games left, 18 points on offer. It really is going to go down to the wire now, and I don't see where City are going to drop points now, which is so disappointing for me as an Arsenal fan, especially after last week's result against Bournemouth. Even a draw against Bournemouth, and City are still going to need snookers. Even a draw against Bournemouth, and we can afford to lose at the Etihad. We could not afford to lose today, and we did. And now it looks like Manchester City will go on and win the title. And I don't see how we can come back from this. I'm not one of those absolute idiots that say Arteta out. I am a person with a very rational perspective, as my name suggests, and I have not got a short memory, and I am not one of these plastic supporters like the ones that look at teams like Chelsea, Manchester City and think we should be like them. If the manager's not doing it, sack him straight away. Just shut up. Just bore off and get out of our club. We don't want you as supporters. We've got enough supporters who are idiots on the terraces, but we don't need these naysayers, these Wenger outs, these Arteta outs, and they're all out there in their droves, and they're completely, as I say before, entitled to their opinions. However, the negativity, when you put that pressure on Arteta to say if he loses this season, if he doesn't win the title this season, he's got to go. Shut up. Shut up. There are such worse positions for so many other teams out in that league. There's so many managers in the league that are under much bigger pressure than Arteta. Let's take Tottenham, for instance, who've had 5 managers this season. Let's take West Ham, for instance, who've had 4 managers this season. Longevity helps. Longevity gives you the stability to build foundations to push your club forward. And that is where Arsenal have been going in the last 5 years, forward. We haven't gone backwards. We have been assembling a very good competitive squad that can compete at the highest level in all competitions. Can we get over the line and win that? It still remains to be seen. However, any other manager that walks into that role would then have to rebuild again, and it would be another transition. And I'm fed up with transition seasons. I'm fed up with it. I'm enjoying us competing at the top right now. I'm enjoying the last 3 or 4 years, us being up there and going for these big trophies rather than scraping an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup. We're going for the Premier League title. We're going for the Champions League. That hasn't happened for nigh on a decade since Arsene Wenger started to just win FA Cups and then left. And then we had Unai Emery. We weren't going for titles then. We were barely in Europe. We were competing in the Europa League and things. Since Arteta has come in, the Europa League is a distant memory, Unfortunately, a lot of fans have short memories, and a lot of fans are fickle, and a lot of fans want instant success. Supporting your football club is not about winning trophies. It never has been, and that is such a myth. You think that these fans of teams such as, and this is no disrespect to these teams, but I'm going to name names. I'm just going to throw teams out there. Remember, I go and watch Northampton Town. They've just been relegated from League One into League Two. And my dad was at the game and watched them lose to Doncaster 3-1 at home yesterday. That is perspective for you. So if you think that Arteta's doing a terrible job, say it at the end of the season, not during the season, not when social media is at such a height. Yes, Arsenal should cut out the noise. Yes, they shouldn't listen to these types of content creators who just want to make a quick 50,000 views and try and get their profile up and stay relevant. This was not supposed to be a rant, but I'm gonna have to throw myself into a rant because of just how how this season has gone for us, it's just, let's be honest. And again, I'm going to put this into perspective. I'd rather be in our position than 18 other Premier League teams. I'd rather be in our position than a lot of clubs around Europe. We are still in the Champions League semi-final and we're still top of the Premier League. So if we get a lot of abuse from rival clubs, laugh it off, because unless they're Manchester City and unless they are going for these big trophies, i.e. Bayern Munich, i.e. Atletico Madrid, i.e. PSG, they've got absolutely no right to have a go at us. And it smacks to me like we're a deflection remedy for other fans to use to cope with their own team's failings. There's so many really thin glass houses across the Premier League right now. Really thin glass houses. And they are throwing, not stones, they're throwing boulders at them, mate. They're smashing through. But the shortcomings of football clubs around the country are remedied by us bottling it. And that's simple. That's simple as that. Because no Manchester United fan, no Liverpool fan, no Chelsea fan, no Spurs fan can say that they've had a better season than Arsenal. They can't. There's no way. And none of them can say that they've had a season that they would consider successful, especially Tottenham. So coming at Arsenal, for comedy value, do it. You fuel it. You fuel our desire to win more, because all you're doing is deflecting against your own team's failures. And let's not make any mistake about it. Unless you're a Manchester City fan, your team has failed this season. Every single one of you, And Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, they're still in Europe. They're still going for trophies in Europe. Leeds United, Chelsea, Manchester City and Southampton are all in the FA Cup semi-final. Okay? Chelsea, you expect them to go through, and Man City as well. So it should be a Chelsea-Man City final. And let's be honest with you, Chelsea ain't winning that. They're not going to win the FA Cup. Man City are going to do a domestic double, possibly a domestic treble now after their result today. So pipe down, lads. You're really not convincing anyone, and you're fooling no one. You are failures this season. And Arsenal may come up short again. And it's going to be a tough one to take. In fact, it'll be the worst one to take because of how far ahead we were again and how much we've been reined in again by a team that, let's be honest, they're facing some pretty heavy sanctions and fines and possible points deductions at the end of this season. So this could possibly be their last chance for success for a good couple of years while they rebuild. Rant over. Sorry about that, guys. It's just my passion. I love you all, and join the conversation. Please do. Have a good rest of your weekend. It's WrestleMania weekend. It was a great evening last night. I watched it at the pub. I'm going to stay at home for the second night. But that's it from me. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you for the Newcastle game next week, I expect. If I'm still doing this by then. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.